All right, folks. Good afternoon and welcome on back to this 2:30 Eastern, as always, this time of the day. Great to see Margaret, Abdul. Great to see Alex and Susie. Great to see all of our students just joining us right now inside our live trading room, as well as back on social media, perhaps as well. Just at Cyber Trading You, just all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc. Namely YouTube. I always got to say that, but popping up on the lower left there if you're on social media. If you're not new, if you're new to our streams, at least just hit the follow or subscribe button right there at Cyber Trading You is the handle. But at least, hey, heading into the afternoon, CGC, it's up like near 25%. Looks like the pot stock's making a bit of a bounce back right now. Gee, I wonder why. What day is coming up later on this week? What do we got? April 20th? Yeah, it's interesting that this ended up making a nice little pop up here going into the end of this week. CGC, ACB, all of these different, cannabis stocks, at least we're going to put them on our watch list heading into the afternoon. It's hard not to. We're familiar with them first off, so we've done pretty well with them in the past. All of the pot stocks that we follow at least have good order books, good spread, liquidity, or within our price range. So as far as like, are they guaranteed to continue? Nothing's guaranteed, right? That's where I say it's the CTU watch list. So these end up just making lower highs. As soon as we finish this meeting up, probably not going to be much ball to play on these trades. So, at least for now, I'll add the CGC. At least for now, I'll add the ACB trade. Those are the two more volatile pot stocks that we tend to follow. Like this one, maybe at times SNDL, but it's very slow. I think that's pretty much maybe Tilray, but that's been the biggest tease of them all. And look at how slow this thing is today. So yeah, they're not all moving too well. It's just those two that we're going to follow: CGC, ACB. All right, now though, I just got stopped out on a position I had on Snapchat here. Just it came back down, right? I was telling us all throughout the day today. Snapchat popping back up once again off the news with TikTok and whatever their potential ban within the U.S. I got to look more into the news itself, so I sound more informative to you. But as far as Snapchat goes, I was mentioning this yesterday. It's like hey, let's say your company's been going down the toilet for a little while now, being Snapchat, and let's then all of a sudden pretend that your main competitor or one of them suddenly loses a fair amount of its own market share. What do you think is going to happen to your company at least? Needs to get a little bounce back up, right? So, it was a little underwhelming yesterday afternoon. And then from here in the morning, it actually treated us pretty nicely. This was a good pop as soon as the market opened up. I'd called this thing out as soon as we saw this here. So a little choppy still, but it was good for 30, 40 cents perhaps. Just now at this point, though, lower high. Now at this point, now just lower high and pulling back down to support. So not as likely to put this on our watch list. If you want me to come back to this at the end, then I will. Actually, that's what this program's for here. My radar screen here now on my left side of my platform. Put Snap on there. Just come back to it as we finish up, right? Now, what we'll do is go right from top to bottom. We already got the cannabis stocks, as Fausto calls them, on our watch list. Just go right from top to bottom here. CLSK was a good trade from earlier today. We'll run into that eventually too. But we start from the top. XPON, work our way down, but geez, this thing's only up what 32%. I thought there was something else up a lot more percentage wise, but it's just like a cheap below $1 stock. What was it? The AGPA? Yeah, I was missing up 130. That's something I trade. All right, so we'll keep it going though. We'll be brief. So we'll run down this list pretty quickly, at least even for now, VNTR or VTNR, my dyslexia. Uh, I'm not as sold on it. Looks very stagnant, looks very slow. It's like a lot of volume for this to try and break over in order for it to run. So again, if I'll come back to it if you want me to at the end. Pop and drop, hollow. A lot of stocks pulling back right now, man. I'll tell you, the SPY's breaking a new low of the day as we speak. The gap fill is still kind of being completed right now as we're talking. I'll show the SPY chart as I finish up. Got it on the bottom of the 5-minute chart there, but we'll go zoomed in. EPTH in the toilet now. DJT, I like the chart. You know what I always say, the order book is not too appealing, not as easy on the eyes, but it's a nice chart, right? So I'll slip it on our watch list for anyone looking to like just trade smaller size of it. If there's literally nothing else from this watch list that we'll put out to begin with that's moving well, I'll probably gravitate to it, but I like ACB a lot more. I like CGC a hell of a lot more. This thing's just on a horrible spread. And I always say this too, you'd figure for as much as this stock dropped off in price that the order book should have filled in a lot more. Really hasn't. So, not to say that's like a good or bad sign about the company, like long term. It's just for us day traders here. Normally, I wouldn't be putting the stock on our watch list, but it's at the highs. It's up 18%. Perhaps it will pop up on more people's scanners over time here. Keep going through though. Viru, familiar name, pharma stock back from a year or two ago. Phase three clinical trial news that came out. I remember. Don't ask me how I remember all that stuff. A lot of stocks, actually. There's very few that come out, like phase three news, FDA approval news that we trade. So, that's one that I remember. AQST, again, another like chop fest here. It's like at the highs, which I do appreciate, but not like moving that great right now. HUMA, geez, you got a lot of just mid, a lot of just not really, you know, two good stocks as far as like trend goes and as far as volatility goes. That might make me lean back towards a CLSK trade even at this point. CLSK was a nice move this morning. Essentially went from that historical level we'd called out like last week at 15 bucks, made one more dip down to it under and over, and essentially ended up taking off today for like 2 points. Beautiful move on CLSK. Right now it's under the VWAP price, so that's something to take note of. Again, just kind of on the side list for right now. Kind of on the side list. Got the other crypto miner stocks out there. We're not really going to follow those as much, aside from CLSK. Maybe we'll check in with Mara, but they move pretty similar, right? They move pretty similar. United Airlines, this thing has been a beast the last 2 days, popped up pretty nicely off of earnings yesterday. And then as soon as the market opened up today, there you go. So, for a $51 stock, I'm not really too interested in how it's moving right now, just for pennies. It's like kind of following like a $1 stock, just moving like 1 cent per minute, like, in that regard. I'd rather be following a better moving trade. All right, so we've gone through everything on the gainers list. Probably find the inverse ETFs there at some point, but let's hop over to the loser side here. Seeing if there's any good shorts, maybe. Here's the thing: we're pretty close to the gap fill and completion on the SPY, 497 and change we were talking about. So I wasn't even guaranteeing we'd get down there. It might come down to 500, maybe a little under, but not touch it perfectly. Well, we're getting closer by the second here this afternoon. So, there might be one or two stocks dropping down nice now, but how much more room do we have left on that drop? That's what I'm really wondering. So I think that I was telling Abdul this in chat earlier today. Like, I really believe we're gonna have a great buying opportunity coming up. Like, could even be later today. It could be tomorrow. It could be Friday, next week. Keep thinking today's Wednesday. I guess it's a good thing then, right? Today's Thursday. Well, one more day till the weekend, essentially. This OCUL, not a bad chart. Shortable for me on TradeStation, trading 4 million shares right now total. I mean, as far as tradability goes, I can kind of slip this on our watch list here. Doesn't hurt. OCUL. I'll see you at $5. See what else we can grab here, though. Bunch of other trades that are probably hard to borrow. So just kind of skimming down here, I see Hertz. Not head short. This thing's taking a big hit. Didn't Hertz get delisted? Didn't Hertz go OTC? Then they came back. What are they on right now? The NASDAQ or the New York? I can't really tell on this chart. That's odd. Normally shows NASDAQ or New York up top. All right, either way, as far as a short goes, this looks pretty good, much like the OCUL. So Hertz, the way down there too. Tesla ETF, TSLL. So I'm sure Tesla will look at in just a moment. That's probably just right off the lows right now too. Take a look at Sunrun. It's actually a pretty good trade on the way down. Also, I like this one as a short too, on the way down to big support, coming up at 10 bucks. Likely be an iceberg out there at 10. All right, so I'm going to need your help. Bill, Michael, Grant, Leda, Margaret, Lawrence, all of our students here in chat. Let me know. Micron, not a bad look, but there's probably a lot that looks like that, right? Tesla is very chippy right now. You know what? MU wasn't so bad compared to those trades there. And Coinbase dropping off, but it's up like 2%. It's like not really like down percentage wise that week compared to the market. That's okay. Happy to get out on Snapchat, that's for sure. Took part of my profit, 11.75, but then from there I pulled out break even on the remaining part, but that's fine. If it's not going to make that move up higher or hold support, play nice by you, then break even. Hell yeah, at this stage right now, looking at all these other trades here, Micron, not so bad. Decent little short trade there. If there's anything else, folks, last call. Just let me know here in chat before we finish up. Take a look at Benzinga Pro. Ooh, Wish. I haven't seen that stock in a little while. That's likely making a move. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's a nice pop beauty. So we're going to put that on the top of our watch list here. Let me drag Benzinga Pro back up here. I know that Fausto actually had a presentation earlier today with the fine folks over at Benzinga. So showing off their Benzinga Pro platform as we typically do each and every meeting here. Let's see what we got. So this was Wednesday, not today. So I'll probably post the news here momentarily. It's an extremely recent pop. So whatever news came out, we will update all of our students here in chat just as soon as we finish here. All right. But definitely a good stock to work with right now. This stock also has been on a huge drop off for quite some time. So, this was not a $900 stock back in 2021, folks. We followed this stock off its IPO. I remember this like the back of my hand. They ended up doing a reverse stock split, maybe even two. But at that point, though, much like Visa, much like all these like short squeezes that we've been seeing, ain't no surprise that this thing's already up 13%. Let's see if it can continue to build support and then from there make that better push. Also, one or two more really quick, just checking out here from Benzinga. So I'm just going to go through them in order from worst to best now at this point. XPON, it's trying to go back up a little bit. Let's take a look at Fun. This stock has moved with DJT. And if you're not going to trade DJT, then this is actually up a sneaky 17%. Liquidity could also be better on this trade. Not really a fan of the spread there. It's also only trading 700 plus thousand shares. That's like bare bones minimum this time of the day. So, man. All right. Well, it will be in sympathy with DJT and this fun stock. We've traded this one in the past. Maybe then with that in mind, one more Rumble. This is not going anywhere. All right, folks, we're going to call it. Hey, if you have any other questions, definitely let me know. Just scan that QR code if you're on social media. Hope you enjoyed this session here. We do this each and every week, Monday to Friday, mornings, afternoons. Just scan that QR code as it will pop up. How about that? Little lead to the draw myself on that. Popping up on the top left now. Top left QR code. If you're fancy with your phone, fancy with your camera, just scan that right there. Join us for a week-long trial inside our live trading room. Otherwise, just go right down to the banner on the scrolling bar below in green, just ct.co/trial to sign up for a week-long trial. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing all of our students coming up in just a little bit.